You don't necessarily have to be the greatest craftsman of your generation, but you need to be dependable. When you say you're gonna do something, you're gonna deliver on a product, you're gonna deliver on a service, that has to be on time or before time. When you build that reputation, then that word spreads like wildfire. Treat everybody with the utmost kindness and respect. And the second thing is be consistent.
We are back in the barbershop. I am so excited to have a great conversation today with none other than Sam Hyun, CEO, founder of 1587, you all. You don't even know what 1587 is? We're getting ready to find out. So glad that you're here. Thank you for hanging out with me.
You know, there's no place I'd rather be right now than at 7:30 in the morning with you, so.
Oh, that's, nobody says nice things like that to me like that. So I appreciate that. Welcome, though. Really glad that you're here. Let's start where the whole story began. Tell me about you.
I'm a son of Korean immigrants. My dad had previously come to the United States in the 80s and then met my mom. They got married in Korea and decided to move to the United States. And it's important to talk about my mom and my story because the reason why she decided to move to the US was she grew up, in the southern part of Korea in Busan. And her father passed away when she was pretty young. And just like the life journey that she had, it was really challenging. And there was a point in which she was working in computer programming and her boss gave her two options. You can either take the promotion or you can take the salary raise. You couldn't have both. But she goes, but the men get both. How come I have to pick?
Right.
And so she demanded she had both because she wanted, not just for herself, but she wanted for the women that didn't get it before her and the women that are gonna get it behind her. When she decided to move to the US, she had heard about the American dream and she wanted to come here to pursue it. And if she was gonna have children, start a family, she wanted to make sure that we had the best opportunities possible. So moved to the US. It didn't work out quite with my dad. And my dad was someone who had a lot of aspirations. I think like a lot of immigrant men in this country, what they found was that the American dream is possible, but there are a lot of roadblocks that happen, especially when you're someone like them. And for him, he didn't understand the system, he didn't know the language, the relationships weren't there. And so he wasn't able to reap the same benefits that everybody else was able to, that had grown up here and had understood this, had been integrated into American society. So it wasn't that the American dream is not real, it's not possible. It's just that for some people, it's just different levels to it. As I was growing up, I grew up in Newton, which is one of the most affluent cities and towns in the country, but I grew up basically with a single mom ever since I was 13. And what I was able to see was both, again, what America can and could be for many people and all people, but my reality was that we were struggling to pay rent month after month. And there were times when we weren't sure if we were gonna be able to make rent the next month, but fortunately for us, our landlord was also an Asian American immigrant. And so she took a lot of compassion and empathy on our family and gave us opportunity. So I'm someone who I feel very much embodies what America can be and could be, but also embody a lot of the realities that often we don't talk about enough.
What are some of those life lessons that you've picked up thus far that you think have been probably the most important to you?
I think sometimes we can be a little calculated in the way that we behave. And to me, it's like you just be kind and empathetic to everybody. Not in some like kind of corny or cliche way, but like genuinely, because you never know what that person is going through, what they've experienced. And you don't want to be the person that sets them over the edge. For instance, when I talk about being Asian American, oftentimes I say it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts. A lot of times it's like the microaggressions, not the first, not the second, it's not the third. We can take that. I'm 32 years old. I can deal with some of that. 100th time, all right, buddy. Like now you're really pushing it, right? And then it's like that 1,000th time when it's like I've had enough.
Right.
You don't want to be that person. You never know where you are on that scale. And so if we can just minimize that, how much better will we be as a society? That's one thing. The second thing is I'm a macro thinker, so sometimes I lose sight about the details and being consistent and coming through and your word being your bond, and especially when you're in business. You don't necessarily have to be the greatest craftsman of your generation, but you need to be dependable. When you say you're gonna do something, you're gonna deliver on a product, you're gonna deliver on a service, that has to be on time or before time. When you build that reputation, then that word spreads like wildfire, and then the gospel starts to spread. You're able to do a lot greater things. So treat everybody with the utmost kindness and respect. And the second thing is be consistent.
Let's talk about 1587, which I think is amazing. I think I just absolutely love it. And I congratulate you on the work that you're doing. I love hate you right now. Because you were courageous enough to make this move in an industry that I don't know that there are many Asian Americans that are a part of it. I might be wrong, but there probably aren't. Given your background and your history, what was it that propelled you and said, I'm going to start a sneaker company?
We are actually the first Asian American founded, unapologetically Asian American sneaker.
I love it.
What really propelled it was my other co-founder, Adam King. He had been in the sneaker industry for 20 years. And he had worked for some of the biggest brands and at multiple levels. And every meeting that he was in, they'd say that Asian Americans weren't worth marketing to, which was absurd. Like, we were one of the major drivers in the sneaker industry. We're the fastest growing racial demographic. Our spending power is increasing at a rapid rate. And yet we weren't worth marketing to, because what they kept saying was that we're a follower consumer. In 2021, I was named one of the Bostonians of the Year by the Boston Globe. And in my interview, I said I wanted Asian Americans to be unapologetically ourselves. Adam and I then, he reached out and we linked up, and we were sitting there thinking about, like, why? And why now? And why this brand?
Right.
And so when we launched it, we said we wanted to represent our community, but on our terms. So that's why we had to build our own company and design it the way that we wanted to, and do it so unapologetically.
Why 1587?
That's a great question. 1587 is the year that the first Asians set foot in what is now known as North America.
Wow.
And I have to give absolute credit where credit is due. It is somewhat of a dark history. There was a Filipino migrant worker off of a Spanish boat, and they were essentially chased off the land by indigenous folks. So there is a dark history to it, but I definitely want to acknowledge what that day and that year specifically means to the Filipino community. But at the same time, I think it's important for us to know that history, both whether it's positive or negative, and painful or not,
Yes.
and mark that as a time and date that is significant to U.S. history.
Let's continue with 1587 for a bit. How would you describe 1587 for all the individuals who have not yet been exposed to 1587?
Yeah. We're a brand that wants all of our people in our community to be unapologetically themselves. That you don't have to explain yourself to anybody, and that your self-worth and self-love comes from within. So a lot of the things that we do is very subtle. So it says, like, inside the shoes, it says, take me off and leave me at the door. That's very much, if you're Asian American, like, you hear that, you know exactly what we're talking about. And so for us, it's like trying to, like, every step that you take in our shoes, you are not only representing yourself, you're representing our community.
Awesome, awesome. When you think about the beginning, and you got started, first of all, you talked about being a macro thinker rather. You dream big, you like, knowing what the end game is, you had the vision of it. But I'm certain that getting this thing started was not necessarily the most easiest thing to do.
No.
So tell me about the beginning, the start. Where do you, start your plans from, and what was your first sneaker, and then where did it go from there?
Yeah, I mean, the beginning months were lean, so to speak. And there were days when we'd be on the phone, and, I'm the eternal optimist, and Adam was, there'd be times when we'd be on the phone, and he's like, I don't know, man. I'm like, no, we're going to make it. Like, you got it. Yeah. I was like, you can't give up on me now. Like, we're in too deep.
Right.
But it was that conviction. We always go back to our why. Why do we start this? And when we started, it was for those reasons of trying to represent our community in a way that hasn't been done before. And we have this deep love of fashion and sneakers particularly. And we use full grain Italian leather. It's, the top of the line sneaker. But more than anything, we believed in our vision and our why. Mm-hmm. And that was what really got us through those hard times. Like, I mean, the first couple months, like, we hit like $3,000 in sales, and, we're like, Adam's got a wife, 2 kids. They obviously come first, but we pushed through, and I said, look, like, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it with everything that we got, and we're gonna leave nothing left on the table. And eventually, we by putting in the work and going everywhere and figuring out who our consumer was, and making those adjustments when we had to really quickly. We were able to figure out and unlock that. And our sales just kind of just took off.
That's awesome. I want to stay a little bit with a word that you've used a number of times, which is unapologetic. Talk to me about how that unapologetic being played a role in you sticking to this thing when there were days that you probably said, I just need to just move on and do something else.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how you forced through the challenges, both, for yourself, but I'm certain that there were probably others who were questioning your decisions, who were questioning why you were doing what you were doing, and who were probably trying to advise you to make a change. I have to wonder if this journey of unapology played into this journey of the brand and moving it forward despite the challenges that you were facing.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that, it was my upbringing as an Asian American man in this country that played a role in that. Like, I wanted to play quarterback when I was in high school, and I ended up being a pitcher in college. So like throwing a ball was not my problem. Having arm strength was not my issue. But yeah, it just seemed impossible to my coach to think that I could be the quarterback. And I've always been told like who I can and can't be, right? Mostly who I can't be. At a certain point, I said, why am I letting people dictate what I'm allowed to do, especially in a country where opportunity is central to our ethos and what makes America great?
Right.
When we made the brand, I was like, we have to be unapologetic. And also to me, like confidence, I think we mistake it to be like this bravado. I need to pound my chest and grab the mic and be this charismatic figure in the front, leading the charge that we always like glorify, especially in Hollywood.
Right.
But the reality is many of the greatest leaders that we've ever seen are the ones that we've never seen. The ones that are in the back, the ones that just, because they just know who they are. They don't need to be seen.
Right.
And that quiet confidence of knowing your worth. And so part of being unapologetic is knowing that we knew our worth, and we brought a top of the line sneaker and our brand and a vision to the scene that hasn't seen anything like this before. And so we understood that there were going to be hills and valleys that we had to overcome. When you understand that and you know your why, that drives that conviction and allows you to push through and then know that there are better days ahead.
We are so excited to be partnering with Walmart Business because Walmart Business is all about helping people live better. In this case, it's all about helping businesses live better. So you should check out Walmart Business. Go to business.walmart.com and see what Walmart Business is able to offer. It's pretty awesome, really exciting stuff. Let's talk about the company, your product. What was the first sneaker that you all came up with?
It was the Morro Bay.
Okay.
And the Morro Bay is because the place that the Filipino worker landed in was now known as Morro Bay, California. So it was an honoring and an homage to that. And Adam, that was his baby. It's a nod to 80s basketball, hip hop culture. Mine is the AP87, which is more like the sleeker, what you see like the leather sneakers that you can wear with a suit. You can dress it up, dress it down, wear it on a red carpet, or just wear it to go get groceries and some sweatpants in the morning.
Currently with the brand, is it purely sneakers? Are there other pieces of apparel that you've got going on or are thinking about?
Yeah, we were really proud to partner with AWOL Print Shop, which is run by a Korean-American adoptee, Brad. So he makes all of our t-shirts, our hats, our hoodies,
awesome.
and they're top-of-the-line quality, and we're so proud to work with him and to be able to uplift another API business.
That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about you as an entrepreneur. I am certain that it's not easy. What are some of the challenges that you have had to face as an entrepreneur that you've overcome, that you are overcoming, that you're still trying to work out? What are some of those challenges right now that you think are probably the biggest for you?
I mean, growing, right? At one point, our growth is outpacing our cash flow, and it's how do you find people to believe in your vision, to be able to invest into your brand, then also making those decisions of, all right, how much inventory are we going to buy? When are we going to buy it? What about marketing? How much are we putting in marketing? Start thinking about expansion in terms of the team, strategy, and messaging. So honestly, there's not any one thing that stresses you out the most, because at any given day, it can be any situation. But I think that's part of the beauty of it is like as you're going through it together. And I have to say, like our team, having that partnership with Adam where we can just be super honest with each other and we balance each other out. We're very different personality-wise and skill set. But the biggest thing that we have between each other that helps us get through all of it is trust.
That's awesome. We've talked a little bit about the challenges of being an entrepreneur, but there's also the positive part of it, the value of it. What about entrepreneurship brings you joy? What is it about entrepreneurship that you love that despite all of the challenges, this part over here says, I'm in it to win it?
I mean, every day I walk out of my apartment and I'm wearing my own sneakers and people are, looking at my shoes and they're I'm like, yeah, that's my brand. That I'm not, if I didn't say that, I'd be lying, right? But I think the biggest thing that I'm most proud about is there have been times when parents have come up to me, despite all the endorsements from celebrities, influencers that we're super appreciative of, right? And like the media hits that we've been getting, super grateful, right? When the parents say that, hey, like, can I take a selfie with you to send to my kid? And I'm like, of course, but I have to ask why. And they're like, when our kids wear your shoes to school and their friends are asking where they got them, and then they get to tell them the story of 1587 and what it means to them, the pride that they have as Asian American, and their friends being more interested in our community and our culture, that's priceless.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's gonna happen with this brand. We might go belly up tomorrow. We might take this thing to the moon. But at the end of the day, I feel like we've succeeded just because of the fact that we've inspired the next generation.
So cool, so cool. You've talked a lot about bringing others along in the journey. You've got your t-shirt compadre who's doing all of your apparel stuff because you want to bring others along. What advice would you give other entrepreneurs who are thinking about it? What advice would you give those folks who are trying to get into the game, who are thinking about being entrepreneurs? Is there any advice that you would give them that you think would be of value that you wish you would have gotten when you got started in the game?
Trust your gut. Your gut is what got you here. Your instincts is what got you here. Do not be afraid of being yourself. And I know it's ironic coming from me where we talk about being unapologetic yourself, but when you're stepping out and you're starting that brand and you're not really quite sure, like there are those doubts that creep into your head. But if I had the courage to even think about doing this, then I should have the courage to really go ahead and follow through with it. Build those relationships and get out of this crabs in a barrel mentality. There is so much space for all of us, and be there for other entrepreneurs. When there's an opportunity to put them on, do it. This bracelet that I'm wearing, these 2 necklaces that I'm wearing, like these are my friends' brands. And I wear them all the time and I talk about them as much as I can because we should be supporting one another in this ecosystem of entrepreneurship.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So what's the future hold for 1587?
There's certainly things I can't talk about.
Why not?
I can't talk about it.
It's me.
Legally can't talk about it.
You wouldn't break the law for me?
Oh, absolutely not.
I'm just kidding, everybody. I'm
absolutely
just kidding.
We just, Tony, you are a wonderful, wonderful human being, but, we can't go to jail together. I'm not cut out for it.
Okay, that's fair.
Self-awareness is critical.
That's very true, very true.
But, we're really excited for the things that are to come. We have some expansion happening for sure. We have some partnerships that we're working on really diligently. So follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our email list.
If we were to follow you on Instagram, how would you find you?
1587 Sneakers.
1587 Sneakers, everybody. I would suggest you check that out. I suggest you do a follow real quick. I know I'm about to do well. To be truthfully honest, I haven't told him this, but I already follow him. I already do that. But that is really great. 1587, everybody. I'm going to let you go because I know you're busy and you got a lot of stuff going on today. I'm excited to see what you're going to be making happening in town and really, really happy for you. But I got a couple of kind of fun questions I'd like to ask you if you're okay with that.
Let's do it.
Besides 1587, who do you like, sneaker-wise?
Oh, wow. I mean, your Y3s that you're wearing right now are crazy.
What?
I mean, they're crazy. I mean,
what? These are the things?
I mean, it fits the outfit perfectly, right? Like you have, the contrast with the blazer. You got the tie underneath, right, and your glasses, the frames of it. But then also like you got the neutrals going on. But what I like what you did was you have this contrast. So you got the neutral shoe, neutral pants, but you have the socks that pop out. So, and You know, it's
You
all
know,
in the details.
I just learned from you, you know? I secretly learned from you.
You don't have to lie to people.
No. Look, accept it. Accept your greatness.
You know what? You're right. You know,
Own it.
This humility, you know, like it has a time and place.
You know, there's a difference between...
I'll receive this blessing.
There you go. There's a difference between being conceited and convinced. I would say you're convinced, and that's what counts. So, you know, you're good. Jordans or Air Force Ones?
Which Jordans?
Oh, why you gotta mess me up like that? Oh,
you're gonna put me on the spot. I'm gonna put you back on the spot.
Oh man, you pick.
I honestly am afraid to answer this question because I feel like if Mr. Jordan ever sees this, and I know how competitive he is.
Yes.
I just heard a story. It was like Jamal Crawford was telling the story. It was like this guy walked up to him with $100 grand and was like, Mr. Jordan, let's bet. And Michael was like, I don't have time. You know, let's do a coin flip. The guy walked away. Wow. You don't disrespect a guy like that. So I'm gonna pass on this because
okay.
I'd like to continue to grow in the secret business, not get snuffed out.
That's fair. Last question. Have you given a thought to what should be the 1587 for Tony Waller?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
And you're not going to tell me, are you?
No, it's got to be a surprise.
Oh, y'all, I'm going to show you my 1587.
If I tell you everything now, then you're not going to have me back. Like, it's just... I
gotta
keep you on your toes.
What this is?
I gotta keep you on your toes.
I gotcha. That's fair. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that. Sam, what a real pleasure. I think you are just amazing. You're just such a wonderful human. I have no doubt in my mind that you have already made a huge difference for the community. And the best for you is yet to come. I cannot wait to see where this goes for you. Wishing you all the best. I am so glad that you came by the barbershop. I told you this is all about refreshing and about reviving and about reflecting, and you have given me so much of that today. And I definitely feel good. I feel better. Not just good, I feel better. I look better because of you, and I'm gonna be better now because now I'm gonna go out here and we're gonna tell the world about 1587s. And so I wish you all the best. Thank you for being at the barbershop. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, check out 1587 Sneakers on Instagram. Follow. Share this information with others. Folks need to know this man's story, need to know the story of 1587. So share this information with those who you believe could value from this. Go to our YouTube channel and like us, please. Subscribe to us, please. And just as important, leave some comments. What did you enjoy about this conversation? What should we have talked about? Because I'm always looking for new and different subjects to bring to the table and to bring right here in the barbershop. With that, I'm gonna leave you. Thank you very much, and we will see you next time in the barbershop.